What is up, everybody? Well, first and foremost, I'm excited to be back. I have been gone I was gone all last week, and I'm not going to lie, I missed you guys. I doubt y'all missed me. It sounds like Heather and Jacob held down the fort pretty well. They did an awesome presentation. I got to watch part of it there, and you guys were in good hands. So excited to have you all here today. Let me go ahead and pull up the chat real quick so that's front and center. Okay. So as far as rules of engagement, if you're new here, I did see a couple new faces, which is cool. And if you're new here, so this presentation every Thursday, as you know, we do a training, and I haven't named this training, but basically this is whatever I want to train on. Okay, it's based on feedback I get from Heather as she talks and trains with y'all. It's based on things I find relevant in marketing and or sales. And then my job is to bring the fire so long as I am capable of doing so. I don't know everything. I'm a work in progress, but I have had enough experience with a lot of things. So let me switch that up. So I'm excited to get started here with y'all today, and just a couple of things. So if you have questions, there is a Q&A function. There's a Q&A function as well as a chat. If you wouldn't mind, just use the chat. I don't want to have a bunch of different windows up, and Heather does a good job of monitoring those too. So if I get carried away, which happens, then she will let me know. Cool. Anything else? So today we're going to be talking about lead conversion. I'm excited about it. This is something I've spent a lot of time training. So you guys, hopefully you're excited. If you don't learn something new, I'm sorry, but I would be hard pressed to think that the ideas and the strategies and the tactics that I'm going to share, that you know all of them, because I've been doing this a little while. Couple things. I did upload in the Facebook group. By the way, if you are not in the Facebook group, please request access into the Patient Stream user group. So you just go into Facebook, type in the search bar Patient Stream user, and we will get you going. All right, so in the Facebook group, I uploaded we're going to be using some of the Daily Marketer. I uploaded a docx file so you guys can go in there, have free reign, make edits, whatever you want to do. We're going to be reviewing this over the next couple of trainings. So I feel like if you have it, it will give you some tools to work with. Let's see here. Testimonials. So we've gotten testimonials from a few of you folks. We absolutely love them. Thank you so much. If you are using Patient Stream and you are willing to provide a testimonial as we go live into new audiences, one of the things that people want to know is, are other people using this? Is this providing them with some benefit? And while we're not perfect, we feel like we're providing a service and a solution to y'all that is really good and is helping, many people grow their businesses. So if you have a testimonial that you are willing to provide, please, we would love to share your experience with other people, your honest experience, and, that would be very much appreciated. We are going to be going live this weekend. That is our goal target date. We have ads and things queued up. If you haven't seen our new website, by the way, it's mypatientstream.com. I'd love for you guys to go over there, check it out. Tell us what you think about it. We appreciate your feedback. We've put a lot of design and thought into saying what it is. And if you wouldn't mind, go check it out, share it with your friends, and we'd love to have you. Also, as far as affiliate training, okay, affiliate training. First of all, what is an affiliate? An affiliate is a person that promotes and shares Patient Stream. If you're willing to promote and share Patient Stream to other users, to friends, we will give you an ongoing affiliate commission of 10%. All right, which is pretty cool. I mean, if you're using something that is, working for you, that is, beneficial, then get enrolled in our affiliate program. How to do that? If you go to mypatientstream.com, you scroll down the page, down to the bottom where it says affiliate program. Click on that. It'll take you to a registration page. You get it registered, and then it takes you into an affiliate center. When you get into the affiliate center, it gives you the ability to have a link that you can share with people. And when people, click on that link, then you will be tagged. And if they sign up, then you will get a commission. That's kind of cool, I think. And I believe next Thursday I'll make an announcement about an affiliate training. I know some people are not wanting to just be salesy and promote things, and I wouldn't ask you to do that. But I do know other people are like, hey, if I get some people signing up with just by me opening my mouth and sharing it, I basically could get Patient Stream for free, maybe even make money. So for those people, we'd love to help you do that. So I will be announcing a live affiliate training next Thursday, and we will go from there. All right, so let's make sure that the chat is working before I get started. Please go ahead and in the chat, in the bottom of your Zoom screen, Heather, raise your hand. What's up, Heather? Allowed to talk. Go. Oh, she didn't really want to talk. Okay, so there Michelle says hello. Thank you, Michelle. Just let me know that you are there. Megan, awesome, wonderful. Okay, cool. So let's get started. We are recording. That's all I really want to make sure of, because I often forget to do that. All right, boom, let's hit play here. Okay, so you should be seeing an awesome picture of me, and that's actually my little brother. So he's not that much more little than I am. In fact, I'm 6'2". I think he's 6'5". He's got about 30 pounds on me. So we'll call him my younger brother. This is what I was doing down on my trip last week, as I went down and visited his family, and we got to go fishing. And the reason I have an arrow pointing, why am I even using this picture for this training? The reason that I have this picture is because that fish right there is the largest mackerel that the boat we went on caught all the 2020 season, which is pretty phenomenal. My younger brother had to fight that thing for almost 16 minutes. I tell you what, the one to the right of it is the first one. That's the one I caught. I fought it for 5, and my arms were blown out, and I'm out of shape, you guys. I got to work on it. But anyway, what would it be like if we could spend our time focusing on the best and the most qualified candidates for our services? Like, what if we were just going after all of the big fish just like this, which, by the way, my fish to the right of that is plenty big. Even though this thing's a whale, the one to the right is a really good fish. What if we could spend more time in our practice dealing with patients that were our kind of patients, right? What if that was the case? So part 1 of From Leads to Qualified Candidates and having them show up is what we're going to cover today. Frame and filter, how to convert leads like a pro. So converting leads to patients, here's what we're going to go over today. Okay, this is just a foreshadowing of what's to come. The Tale of Two Clinics, understanding the lead spectrum, know what goals we're going after in this first part, okay, and frame and filter, key phrases, and tactics. Before I move on to the Tale of Two Clinics, I want you to understand what phase I'm talking about as far as converting leads to patients. From the time that a lead is generated to the person shows up for day 1 is what we're talking about today. So we're going to talk about all of these things to improve that, that result. All right, the Tale of Two Clinics. All right, so I want you to imagine for a moment that I have 2 clinics that are both using Patient Stream, and they're in the same city. They're not, maybe they're even overlapping demographics. Who knows? Okay. They're in the same city. They have the same ads. the exact same lead volume. Okay, I want you to imagine in your head. So I'm saying there's effectively two identical clinics. They're in the same city, so same demographic, and people are responding to the same exact inputs. Here's a big question I want you to understand. If you wouldn't mind giving me your thoughts in the chat below. Are they going to get the same result? Will they get the same result? A yes or a no will do. Do you guys think that if I give two clinics the exact same things, they would get the exact same result? Samantha says no. Megan says nope. And you guys are absolutely right. Shannon, you are right. Well, why is that? Why is that? What is the difference? And by the way, that infers that one clinic would get better results than another. So what is it that would really be the change? Is it something external or is it something internal? Well, we've kind of established the point of this example is that the external is identical. The inputs are the same. So it's got to be internal. So all things being equal, there are a lot of variables that can improve your results. Let's take a deeper dive into how to improve lead show rate as well as quality. That's weird. Quality. How can we improve quality through follow-up? Let's do it. So before we jump into this, the lead spectrum. Okay. When I say the lead spectrum, we're creating leads from a vast group of people. No two people are the same. So that infers a spectrum. Here's kind of what that might look like. You might get leads that say they want something for nothing. Tire kickers, right? You might get leads, but are curious. They're curious about your offer. They're curious about what your approach is. They like what they've seen, but they're curious, but not ready. They're hesitant, but they are interested. These are people that they see ads all the time or they see big promises all the time. But when you put your ad in front of them, they're like, this is different, but I'm hesitant. I'm not sure of this. These people are interested and they want to learn more. These people like the idea and want to give it a shot. And then these people are ready to roll. Everybody we've all had in our clinics, we've always had the type of patients that, we might get even an influx of 4 or 5 people in a row that are just ready to go. And we think, oh my gosh, something happened with the ads. And now all of a sudden we're crushing it. What change did you make? This is the law of variables and the law of averages, folks. This spectrum exists in your demographic always. Okay, you're not going to make a change to your ads or to your campaigns that's going to dramatically change things like you're waving a magic wand. Okay, you're just going to get different pockets of these people. Okay, and obviously when we're talking about ad message, ideas, offers, that does appeal to different people in this spectrum, but all things being equal, again, understand that there is a spectrum. So what do we want to understand first and foremost about these leads when they're being generated? We want to know where they are at. Okay, we want to know where they're at. We want to know where on the spectrum they fall. This is something very important to discern, to practice discernment, and to really know what is going on. All right. So understand that everybody out there is varied. Every conversation you have is going to be nuanced. So where should we start? We want to start by understanding your goals. The biggest reason for failure in any business, including, and we're all a work in progress. We're all trying to do this better, but including mine, including yours, is expectations. Their expectations, your expectations. What are the expectations that we are setting? So one of the goals that we want to understand here on our end is understanding our goals / expectations. So the first question, when we're following up with leads, are we trying to make a sale or are we trying to advance the sale. If you've been on a training of mine before, you may know the difference. If you don't know the difference, let me illuminate based on the, the gospel according to Sam, what that means. So a lot of people want to the time a person responds to a lead to the time they enter, they want that person to convert to a sale as quickly as possible. The goal right now during this phase of the follow-up is not to try and make a sale. We don't want to do that. It's like, it's like coming on really hard on the first date. We've all, well, not me, but we've all been in this situation. That was weird. We've all been in this situation where maybe we're trying a little too hard with somebody in a relationship, and the other person senses what's going on. So we don't want to try and make a sale before the person comes in. Okay. We want to try and advance the sale. All right. And this next question, will anyone do? We want to advance the right sale. Okay. So, and by the way, I'm saying you want to advance the right sale. You need to internalize what this means for your clinic, because I know some clinics that they want everybody and anybody in, because they know once even somebody on the higher end of that spectrum, the people that are not interested, maybe tire kickers, they know that they have a proven conversion mechanism at their clinic, and they just want as many people in there so they can have their shot. Okay. So they can show them why they're different. But your clinic might be different. So internalize what that means. Will anyone do? Maybe they will. Maybe maybe you're really busy and you only want the best candidates. That's fine too. This is your strategy. You need to make sure that that you internalize what this means. Okay. And then it's a numbers game. I hate it when people say it's a numbers game. I really do. Okay. However, let's go back to the tale of two clinics. I saw, let's see here. Shannon said responses to leads. So Patient Stream does some cool stuff. In fact, I was looking at a clinic this last week, and I asked Jacob, I said, hey, based on the response they're getting, how much of it is automatic? Meaning, how much of it is only based on what Patient Stream is doing on the follow-up sequences? He said 80% on this particular campaign. And I was blown away by that. I was thinking, dude, that is amazing. Patient Stream is making that big of a push in lead follow-up. That's amazing. And that's something that other Tyson Bradford talked about that several weeks ago. So we know that's true. However, we know the impact that quick response, and specifically, I'm talking about phone calls. We know the difference that can make. So if we go back to the tale of two clinics, if one clinic is making a quick call, an actual one-on-one call, they've got the same follow-up framework, okay, the same text and things going out, but one clinic is making a phone call and one clinic is just going about their, merry day, and they're just saying, hey, Patient Stream is doing all the heavy lifting for us. That's good enough for us. Might that be a reason for a difference in results? Internalize this. This is, your market, your market better than I do. Okay. So when I say it's a numbers game, there are numbers, there are bottlenecks in every part of this process. And you must take the time to identify each rung of the ladder. So this one we're talking about from leads to show up. Identify that. Know your numbers. Okay. If you're not happy with your show up rate, what are some things you can do? Are you making a phone call? How quick is that phone call happening? How long are you spending on the phone call? What is the condition? These are all things that are important to understand. Okay, cool. Let's go. Wait, did I click off of that thing? Okay, frame. Did I go through two of them? Hold on. Understand your goal. Frame and filter. Okay. All right, so we understand our goal. We understand we've internalized what we want. We want either everybody or we want less people. What does frame and filter mean? So I'll come up with these little phrases. I'll have something that I learn. And by the way, I don't know how many of these things I created through my experience or I've gleaned by reading books. I've read a lot of books on sales and marketing. And so they just seep in there. So frame and filter is a term I created, but I'm sure this idea I did not create. Okay. So frame and filter. The goal of frame and filter is to set a frame that positions your clinic as the expert. Talk about why in a second. In addition, we want to filter out any obvious non-fit for our services. All right. Now, this is hard to do unless you're making a phone call. Okay. You can update your texting protocol, your things like that. But honestly, frame and filter is a human psychology mechanism. So if you're not making phone calls, you're going to be hard pressed to do this. Okay. One thing I want to say, I put the word expert in there on purpose. The goal of frame and filter is to set a frame that positions your clinic as the expert. A lot of you feel like when you're dealing with patients, when you're dealing with new people, especially, these are people that don't know you, you feel like you're selling. What is the difference between a salesperson and an expert? A salesperson sells. An expert advises. What would you rather do? Sell or advise? Does that make sense? There's nuance to this, but that's exactly what's happening. It just comes from I have this friend. He's been a really amazing best friend of mine for a very long time. And I know that if I ever want my wife, this sounds goofy. I don't use it. I don't use these powers for evil, I promise. I know that if I want my wife to see things my way, all I got to do is call my buddy and say, hey man, here's kind of what I'm doing. This is what I think about it. What do you think? If he agrees with me, all I got to do is have her talk to him, because she thinks he is so smart that anything that comes from his mouth is thought through, is deconstructed, is figured out. So she feels like he's giving advice. She feels like I'm selling. You know, we're married almost 18 years. Whoop, whoop. Anyway, that's kind of a funny example, but that is close to home. So frame and filter. And in just a minute, I'm going to go through these in the actual Daily Marketer. Okay. We'll stop sharing this screen. We'll go over to the actual script. I want to make sure that before we do that, we have a good understanding, a good base on which to do that. Okay. So frame and filter. We want to get the no. All right. So you're talking to a person on the phone, and your first instinct, and every single salesperson out there says, hey, do you have a minute? And they're hoping to get a yes. The problem with, and by the way, I don't have the book here, but there was a book called Never Split the Difference. This is 100% taken from him. He's an expert negotiator and great at doing sales. So he talks about getting the no. So understand first that we don't want to go after yeses. Salespeople are trained to get yeses. We want to go after no's. All right. The second thing, don't rush, relate. Salespeople are also trained to hurry through and time their calls as quickly as possible. And it's a numbers game. Yes, Chris Voss, that's right. They want to get through their calls as quickly as possible. While I understand getting off the wrong calls is important, you don't want to take that behavior and waste it by not relating. You need to relate to your prospects. Trust me, it'll pay dividends down the road. A 1-minute phone call is a bad idea. This is why, honestly, I have another sister that used to sell, and she didn't know it was selling, but she used to do car windshields, right? She was in this sales room of all these people, and all of a sudden she starts crushing it. She starts beating all these salespeople that have been there for a long time. They're saying what she's doing. She just likes to talk to people. She's friendly. People like her, and boom, she's making sales. Relate. You must relate. Okay. Set up the call. Set up the call. Tell them what you're going to do. If you tell a person, hey, here, the purpose of this call is boom, then they know. They don't feel off guard. They know exactly what the goal is. The purpose of this call is so I can gather a little bit of data for the doctor. Bodie, I'm on a training. I love you. You got to go. This is when we're working at home. This is kind of how we go, folks. All right. Frame and filter. once we've kind of told them what we want to do, then we're going to bring them through a frame and allow the people who are not qualified, the people who aren't interested, to filter themselves away. At this point, when we frame and filter, people are honestly going to self-select and say, hey, whether through their tone, their responses, or even just them saying, hey, I'm off, they're going to get off the call. Maybe the timing isn't right. Okay, so frame and filter. Deep dive, mirror, ask questions. So back to the relating thing. One of the ways you're going to, hey, please shut the door. Please. Deep dive, mirror, and ask questions. One of the ways that we're going to relate to people is by understanding them. If people feel, I cannot stress this enough, if people feel like they are being listened to, and we're not talking about this active listening crap that people talk about. If people feel like they're being listened to and they ask the right questions, they will bond with you. They will relate to you, okay? Maximizing is all about using your responses to categorize a person's problems, okay? And what I mean by categorizing a person's problems is there's maximize and there's minimize. If somebody tells you that they get daily migraines, a lot of the MD way to do that is to go, okay, and to make notes. The maximizing way to address this is to say, you get daily migraines. That's not good. That's a problem. Now, we don't want to scare people, but at the same time, a lot of times people learn to live with these things and just think that there's no way around it. When you maximize a condition, you're inferring through language that you can help. All right? And then certainty and commit. Nobody wants to work with a company or with a service provider that might be able to help them. Now, I'm not saying you guarantee anything, but based on what you guys know, based on your skill set, you know what you can do. Be confident in it and let that be conveyed in your language. All right, let me just make sure. I'm going to look at my next slide and just make sure that's okay. Yep. By the way, these slides I come up with. This is not anything I've taught before in this way. And so I'm going through and I'm thinking to myself, what's the best way in the order to get this? So these are a couple of key phrases. I'm going to go over them really quickly and then we'll go over the script and I'll show you how they fit. Okay. Familiar tone. So tone is a really big one. You can infer questions with your tone. I mean, language is so cool, right? But a familiar tone. Think of yourself, how do I make myself sound friendly / familiar? If you were calling me on the phone, Michelle Sims knows me very well. Well, not very well. We haven't met in person, but she knows me well enough. And she could call me up and go, hey, Sam. She wouldn't say, is Sam there? She'd say, hey, Sam, because we're familiar. We know each other, right? And so she would start, hey, Sam, and it would come down. The tone would come down. So when you're talking with people you know and then people that you don't know, think back on the type of tone that you learned to speak with. This is all programmed into you already, by the way. You don't have to learn it, okay? Get the know, we've talked about that. Certainty, a perfect fit. We're going to go over that here in a second. And then a closing boost. At the end of the script, I'm going to show you a closing boost, okay? And here's what it is. Hi, name. One more thing. If for any reason you're unable to make your appointment, please let us know. We have limited appointment space available for new patients, so we really like it if you let us know ahead of time, right? We want to add one more filter onto the back end of anybody that makes it through there. That way, they know that this is important to us. And by the way, I have one clinic says that this phrase right by itself, I don't know. I mean, statistics are so fun. He said it increased his show rate by 30% on the leads that we're showing, okay? Which I think is pretty freaking sweet. So let me stop sharing this for a second. By the way, we're on this thing so far 30 minutes. How you guys doing? Any questions so far? Are we, you feeling overwhelmed? Are you liking this? Is this confusing? Have I, where are we at? Grab that chat. Let me know before we move on to the script. This is great. Thank you, Samantha. Love it. Awesome. Good. Great. Okay. Again, this will be recorded. Great ideas to further train. Awesome. Awesome, Michelle. And by the way, this will be recorded, but I would say this. It's always better to show up live. It's always better. Why? You sense the energy that I have around this. That helps you learn more. Other people, Michelle, Samantha, Shannon, Megan, all you folks, if you have questions, that's going to help other people learn. All right. So understand that showing up live is all. I understand it's not always 100% possible, but it's as important as I can. It's very important. All right. So, and actually, again, I created this training over the week. I haven't given this before, and I have a slide that talks about scripts. And I'm gonna share what it says right now before we go through the script. I feel like it will flow better with this information. When it comes to a script, you're going to need to adapt any script. Okay. And a lot of people get scared to adapt scripts. Don't be frightened to adapt any script. Okay. There are certain key phrases and things like that you'll just instinctively know. We want to make sure that we have this part in here. We want to make sure that we have this part in there. But what's most important about a script are the ideas you want to convey. The ideas. Everybody thinks that ad copy and ads is all about fancy words. I have been doing it for a long time. It is not about that at all. In fact, the first time you write an ad, if you have the right idea, the words usually suck. You get better words by editing it. All right. So I wanted to share that before we jumped into the script, because you might think, well, I don't know how well this would work for us. It's not, this is a case specific script, but the ideas here are important and you do need to use them. Okay. And just like I have here, primary script, transition statement, the setup, quickly verify some data points. Those are the ideas and the order in which I believe you should edit this script. Fair enough? I should have got some water, but all right. So again, this training, this entire document is available in a docx file in the PatientStream users group. And we're just going to go through. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the exact words. Again, I want the ideas that we've been talking about. I want those to ring home true. All right. So primary script, here we go. And by the way, it says black text is for standard lead follow-up. Blue text is specific to event follow-up. You'll notice that a lot of the black strip seems like it's a survey. That's because when I wrote this initially, we did a lot of surveys. Okay. Which we still do, but they don't work as well anymore. All right. Hi, is Mary there? Okay. So remember familiar tone. Okay. That's all I'll say about, hi, Mary, this is Sam calling with XYZ Clinic here in Boise. I'm calling to verify I've got the correct information on the form you submitted. Okay. That is the general idea of what we want to do. Notice we went a lot through tone. Okay. Hi, Mary, this is Sam. Hi, Mary, this is Sam. That's familiar. Calling with XYZ Clinic here in Boise. Okay. When I like the curiosity tone when I say location. That way they know I'm not calling from other places. Calling from Boise, and I'm calling to verify. And again, this is very like matter of fact. And I'm calling to verify that I got the correct information on the form you submitted. If they forget that they did this, or if they forget, I'm calling to verify. I'm calling to follow up with you on the information you submitted. Okay. If they forget, you just want to be very matter of fact on this part. Okay. And then this is events, transition statement. We want to go for the no. Most people, by the way, most people would say, have I caught you at a good time? It's never a good time for people. They don't want to talk to you. And by the way, it's not anything against you, has nothing to do with it. They don't want to talk to you because they don't want to talk to anybody. They want to go back and do their whatever they were doing, Netflix and chill, right? So have I caught you at a bad time? I might even say, have I caught you at a terrible time? because it's not usually a terrible time. Okay. We want to go, whatever you decide to do, you want to position yourself to go for the no for two reasons. One, it's hard for them to say yes. It's very difficult. And two, psychologically, when people say yes, they think they're getting sold. So if you say no, then they don't feel like they're getting sold. Okay. The setup. Okay. So the setup was where we talked about what we're going to do on this call. Okay. We want to give them an expectation of what's going to happen. Great. So like I said, I just want to make sure I've got your information correct. Okay. So when the doctor asks questions, I can be as helpful as possible. Does that sound good? Okay. Very matter of fact, I'm stating what I'm doing. I'm using my tone. By the way, I'm not even thinking about my tone. I'm sure there's some things I would change, but I'm just being as friendly as possible. I'm being matter of fact. I'm saying what I'm doing. Okay. That's what we're doing. All right, this is based on a survey, so I'm going to skip this. There is something very important here. Okay, so frame and filter, we talked about this. Great. This word right here is important. I'm going to go ahead and bold that. All right. I read in a copy book once, and then I was talking with a very skilled teacher of copy. The importance of the word because. Our brains are required to listen to anything after because. All right. So I'm going to, that's not in the script. In the other, obviously it was just like this, but I want you to understand. So Mary, because, all right, we're giving reasons. We're explaining why. Okay. So make sure that in frame and filter, throw that word because in the front of whatever you're going to take. All right. So let's go. All right, Mary. So because we take helping people with neuropathy so seriously, we always want to make sure that our program is a fit. Would it be a problem if I took a few minutes and asked you about some of the issues you're having? I didn't even read the script. I just went off of the ideas of the script. Okay. But here's a couple things that we're doing. Because we take helping people with neuropathy so seriously, I'm setting a frame. We're not going to take anybody. And I always want to make sure that our program is a fit. Would it be okay if I took a minute to ask you a couple questions about your condition? So I'm inferring, and this is what's so cool. Like, I'm not even selling here. I'm inferring that through my language, I'm inferring that I just created a filter. I just created a thing that you got to come through to be a fit for what we're providing. If there's a chance that psychologically, if there's a chance that they might not be a fit, you know what they automatically feel like? First, they don't feel like they're being sold. Okay, because when you're getting sold, you're selling everybody. That's the first thing. Second, they have what's called fear of loss. So now a certain select group of them are going to start feeling that fear of loss. Oh, wait a minute. You mean I'm not being sold? You mean, so this is important. Fear of loss is a marketing and sales tool. It's been used for forever. All right, discover and mirroring, again, relate to the right people. That frame and filter is going to make some people disinterested. And if that's the case, you can hurry up you can just, whatever you feel is best for that appointment time. If you want to double book it, maybe they show up, whatever. Your strategy is your strategy. But discover and mirror. Discover and mirror is all about finding out more about that person's conditions. Can I ask you how long you've been struggling with neuropathy? I wish I had somebody on to role play with, because I would like to share what mirroring is in an example, but I'll just try and role play with myself. Okay. So mirroring, and this is taught by Chris Voss. It's a sales technique, but the way he does it is way more effective. So mirroring is effectively taking the last three words of any sentence, or the end of a response, the end ideas, the end thoughts of a response, and repeating them back to that person with a questioning tone. I'll give you an example. Mary, can I ask you how long you've been struggling with neuropathy? You know, I've been struggling with neuropathy, I don't know, on and off for the past 5 years. A mirror in that case would be the past 5 years. Okay, so the tone infers a question, like, I want to know more. And then just mirroring the end of it, the past 5 years, what is automatically going to happen? Well, based on practice, the more you practice this, what ends up happening is people start gushing. They start spilling the beans. And that is what you need. Honestly, people say that this is your sales ammo. This is not your sales ammo, people. This is what you need to relate to a person as far as their problems. If they don't feel, and if you don't feel connected on what the actual issue and the problem is, how can either of you move forward? Okay. This is not, you don't treat your patients like they are, something that you just plug in all of a sudden. Yeah. Hey, we got money. You people are all, and I know you people are all in this to help people. And by the way, making money isn't a bad thing. Making money is a great thing. It means you can help more people, and making a lot of money means you can help a lot more people. And it means you can have a great life in the interim. Not sure why I jumped off on that. Maybe I'm defensive about that. I don't know. Something psychological in my programming. But mirroring is a very powerful tool. At some point, you're not going to want to mirror anymore. At some point, you're going to want to start taking these responses and maximizing the conversation to turn it around. Okay. And so if we talk about discover mirroring, the whole idea, we're relating to them. We're understanding their problem. Once we understand their problem, now it's time for us to turn it around and make sure that they understand their problem is actually a problem. Let me explain why. People will minimize and rationalize any problem they have. If they have it long enough, the more they just are resigned to the fact that, yeah, well, I'll just always be overweight. I'll just always have neuropathy. I'll just always have low back pain. I'll just always have knee pain until I have surgery. This is what their mindset is. Boom. By maximizing them, you're going to take them jolted right out of that. You're going to take them. You're going to say, that's not good. Mary, that is not good. Those symptoms are concerning, Mary. Okay. And by doing that, you're going to shift them away from, this reality that they've created in their head, that this is the way life is. And you're going to put them in a new reality. All right. I learned that from a buddy of mine, Dr. Sonny Gill. And, man, when I learned that, he talked about giving them a new reality. When I learned that, I had to sit and I had to think about it for a long time. And then I started practicing it. And the more I thought about it, I thought, how kind is that principle? And that seems like a weird conclusion to come to, but I thought, how kind is this tactic? Maximizing a person's conditions seems mean, but it's actually not. It's the catalyst that they need to say, I need to make a change, or a change is being inferred. A change is possible. I don't know. I thought that was cool. Maybe I'm wrong. Show empathy. So the second that a person feels like a new reality might be possible, they're going to get scared. Okay. They're going to get scared. They're going to be in a state of non-belief, or they're going to put you in the bucket of, yeah, but that's not going to work for me. All of these things are going to happen automatically. They're not going to consciously do this. They're going to subconsciously be programmed to do this. We're all this way. And so to take this away from them, we need to show empathy. And all of you are better at showing empathy than I am for these particular patients, because you see the journey that the worst version of their situation, of their condition, can be like. And so, hell yes, you know how frustrating it can be to struggle with weight, to struggle with neuropathy, even if it's not you that struggled with any of these things. Does this make sense? What do you guys think? I mean, I want to go to certainty and commit, but from frame and filter to discover and mirror to maximize to show empathy, this is a pivot. And by the way, this works on day one as well, this exact process. But in this initial part, this is so important. This shift, what we're doing, this is boom, one rung, boom, the next rung, boom, the next rung. If you do this right, it'll make a big difference in what you're doing. All right. Let me do this real quick. This is a very similar to the script we use, but the expectations of why are very valuable. Thank you so much. Awesome. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Certainty and commit is the next one, and then we're going to go to the closing boost, which we kind of went through. So certainty and commit. So we've come through this process, okay? And by the way, if you have any questions, you want to ask me the questions, I can unmute you after this, and I'm happy to answer what I can and kind of go through those. So if you have them, you don't need to type them if you're comfortable coming on with me on audio. Certainty and commit. After they've kind of, I'm not going to say born their soul because that sounds like very cheesy. After they've related to you, your job is to give them some confidence in what you can do. So let's do this. So Mary, as I told you, we take helping people with neuropathy very seriously. And based on what you've told me, I think our clinic would be a perfect fit. There's a cadence, there's a tone. I think our clinic would be a perfect fit. That is a phrase that I put on that previous slide. And it's, I actually learned it from the Wolf of Wall Street of all places, but he's got different elements of his sales protocol that, again, psychologically, they're on point. And when you say, I think our clinic would be a perfect fit, the words you're saying, I think you can say I'm wrong. I think our clinic would be a perfect fit. And that doesn't convey any certainty. Okay. But if you say, I think our clinic would be a perfect fit, people are going to feel that. Okay. It's going to resonate with them. Okay. So the next step would be getting you, okay, so this is very like logistical. So the next step would be getting you on a schedule and get you the help you need. So I've got Thursday at 3, blah, blah, blah. I've got this time. Which one would you like? That's how you need to approach, by the way, that's how you need to approach a person's appointment. You need to say, this is what I have. Which one do you want? Which one works best for you? Don't say, when would you like to come in? And the reason why is the same reason why Mark Zuckerberg, why, I'll just say Mark Zuckerberg, why he wears a gray shirt and blue jeans, and why Jay Leno wears jean everything. They don't want to think. We got to take all of the decisions that people make. We don't want to engage certain engines. So by doing this, so I've got 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 1:30, which one works best for you? They don't have to do any problem solving. They just got to look at the calendar like, okay, yeah, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning works good. Good. Okay, let's move on. The closing boost. Again, we talked about this. I've got a clinic that says that they boosted their show up rate just by doing this. And it makes sense. It's social pressure saying, hey, we've got other people for our new patient spots. We've got other people. So please just make sure that if you're unable to make it, let us know. And, we'll get you rescheduled. No, not a problem. But if you're not able to make it, we've got limited space available for new patients. And we'd really appreciate you giving us a heads up. Boom, done. I didn't even follow the script. I didn't even look at the script, honestly. I just know it's the idea. It's the idea, right? The closing boost is the idea. Okay, perfect. Well, Mary, we look forward to helping you with your neuropathy, and I'll let the doctor know that we talked and get him informed about your concerns today. Thanks for the nice chat, and we'll see you on Thursday. All right, that is it. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and pop this up real quick. We talked about adapting the script. I'm just going to do the summary real quick. So listen, results, qualified leads, all of this stuff. It seems like there's clinics out there that have it figured out. And I'm telling you, the thing that they have figured out is this process. They understand that they're dealing with people on a spectrum. They understand that if they can perfect these little things, that they will reduce the amount of bottlenecks in their new patient flow. So high conversions start with the right people showing up to your clinic. Use these tactics to increase the quality of qualified candidates for your niche conditions. All right. do you have any questions? Is there anything, and by the way, there's a way you can raise your hand. I'd be happy to bring you on if you would like. Let me see here. See if anybody's raising hands, or you can also type it. Anything that you guys want to ask before we conclude? What do you think about this? What did you think? I mean, I'd love to hear some feedback. We've got 11 of you on right now live, which is great. What do you think? What do you know? I can wait. Just looking through the past ones, see if I missed anything. Am I missing somebody raising their hand? Participants. Y'all are a bunch of quiet folks today, which is fine. I understand. Here's what I'll say. How would you handle the question, how much is this going to cost me? Ooh, good question. Good question. Remember we talked about those people on the spectrum, right? There's all these people that are focused on money, are shopping most of the time. And so when it comes to money, what we want to do is we want to, if we do it right, we're going to say, hey, based on what we do, on how we help people, the cost changes. So can I see if are you interested in seeing if you're a fit for the program before we get on to cost? Something along those lines. When people are asking about money so quickly, and some people do this, it tells me that they're just kicking tires, because it's almost an excuse. If they're asking like right in the first minute, it's almost an excuse for them to get off the call, right? It's almost an excuse for them to say, hey, I know this is expensive, right? But if they're asking later on, after they've been educated, then just whenever you say price, the price ranges based on your condition. But for what we've talked about, it probably would be in the realm of about $2,000 to $3,000. But I have one doctor that says this. He says, that's a good question, Mary. Before we talk about how much it would cost for you, I want you to understand that we never let finances get in the way of somebody getting the help they need. Okay. And if you're interested in getting that help, we'll make sure that we'll make this affordable for anybody. Okay. So that approach works. If they're asking you again in the first 30 seconds, then they're probably going to not be great. Okay. This does work. I use this method in live events and brought in more patients we converted in 3 months than previous gal did the whole year before me. It's great stuff, Sam. Awesome. Thank you, Shannon. It makes a difference. I mean, this is, again, if you look at a pipeline, right? If you have a big pipe, you got a big pipe, a lot of stuff coming through, and then the next pipe bevels down into a smaller pipe. Well, if it bevels down too small, you're going to not be getting much more business for your business. So it's important to do that. But anyway, so Michelle, how much is this going to cost me? The best rebuttal I have heard for that is, so Michelle, based on what we're talking about for neuropathy, before we talk about what it would cost in your case, let me just let you understand that we never let financing or finances get in the way of the person getting the help they need, right? And then you kind of do some kung fu stuff there. That was really helpful. Is there a portal to watch past recordings, trainings like this one? Brandy, yes. So the Facebook group, first of all, I have a YouTube channel and I have a lot of trainings on there. So if you go to YouTube and you search Sam Carlson Marketer, there's a lot of trainings there. A lot of these, so this one will be on there as well because we're not giving away proprietary stuff. But this will also be in the Facebook group. So once the video downloads, I'll download it and I'll upload it into that video and I'll tag it with like whatever the topic is. So in this case, it would probably be quality leads would be the topic. But yeah, look first in the Facebook group. If you have any questions, ask in the Facebook group and I'll throw it in there. If you treat them like adults, people, not sales numbers. It works. And with AI, sky's the limit. Yes, Shannon, you're right. It's interesting because, again, we have clinics all across the country that are using it, and Patient Stream is a work in progress, like all of us. We are all a work in progress. The software is a work in progress. We have new things coming. We're developing new things. We're going at light speed as we can. And so in that process, if you can learn these skills and I mean, let me train your staff. If your staff is here, or if your staff watches this training after the fact, I mean, this is a 1-hour training, and, just let them come onto this thing, or let them watch this and download the script, make whatever changes make the most sense, and bada bing, bada boom. All right. Well, awesome, you guys. We are right at an hour. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. Jump in the Facebook group. Let's get some dialogue. Let's get some things going in there. I'd love to share more stuff that I have. I got a lot of secrets that I'm willing to share. And by the way, next week, I'm going to talk about day one. Okay. So we've kind of talked about what happens between today, between the lead and them showing up. Well, what about how to kick butt on day one? Day one is a lot about education, but education the right way. So we're going to talk about education. We're going to talk about stories. Facts tell, stories sell. We're going to talk about a lot of cool stuff. So come back next week. Have your friends, have your mom, have your grandpa, have your cousins, anybody come. I don't care. This is fun. We're having a good time. So see you guys later. Whenever I feel it's there.